And let us move along now. Let us welcome in the man who has been the talk of the MMA world for the last week. I assure you, if you have seen, if you are a fan of mixed martial arts, if you watch this show, you have seen his knockout last week on The Ultimate Fighter 17, arguably the greatest knockout in TUF history and one of the greatest we've seen in UFC history. He joins us right now. His name is Uriah Hall. Uriah, how are you?
I'm good, man. What's going on?
Good to talk to a guy who's helping to put New York MMA on the map. We are biased towards New York MMA here, so very good to have you on the show. We appreciate the time.
No problem. Thanks for having me, bro.
So how has life changed for you since last Tuesday? I've seen the articles where you went into the bathroom, you didn't want to deal with everyone, the texts, the phone calls, and whatnot. Have you come out of the bathroom? Because it kind of sounds like you're still in one right now.
No, I'm actually in one of my buddy's office. I just kind of stopped by this place, and I told him, give me a little private room.
Oh, okay.
I can talk on the phone.
So how has life changed for you?
You know what? It's not really that much. The only thing that I've been really, going crazy, I've been going crazy, like, Facebook, Twitter, and all that stuff. Occasionally I get stopped, but if I can, inspire someone or someone sees me as a good idol, I'm not going to throw it away. I'm looking at that, it's pretty cool. I like it. But in the beginning, it was just like swarm, and I guess it was just overwhelming, but I'm gradually handling it.
When did that knockout actually happen? What month was that?
Tell you the truth, I don't really remember, because when we're on the show, there's the only thing we had control of maybe was time. I mean, at one point I lost what day it was because all we did was just train. So I don't really remember, to tell you the truth.
I'm guessing it was maybe 2-3 months ago. What I'm getting at is it weird to then experience something that, because usually in a fight, it happens that moment, your phone blows up, but now you're kind of waiting for it. It's like this storm about to come. They're teasing it, and then bang, the world sees what you've known. It's almost like the secret that you have. Is that a weird feeling for a guy who prior to that was, fighting in normal shows, not on a reality show?
It's not a weird feeling. The only thing different about it was just, me viewing it from a different angle as well as far as TV goes. Being there is different. I know what happened, but watching it on TV and how they portrayed everything and how it came out, it looked really cool. And again, with fighting, for me, sometimes when I go out there, I don't really remember half the stuff I've done or did. So I knew I threw that kick, and when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's how I did it. Oh, that's cool. It's just different for me to see it from a different angle. Is
this something that you have practiced? I mean, obviously you didn't pull it out of your behind, but is this a go-to move for you?
It's definitely one of my favorite techniques. I definitely like, the unorthodox techniques, spinning techniques. I come up with crazy stuff that, what the hell was that? Because for me, I love to think outside the box. And growing up in my youth, I was inspired by like certain video games and certain techniques they do, and I would try it, and I would say, man, if I could pull something like this off, it would be cool. But, my background is a little bit traditional, and, Tiger Showman himself taught that kick. And, it wasn't something we focused on too much because you got to have really good timing with it, and gradually over time, it'll probably hurt your knee. But I love that kick, and I try to perfect. I still don't think I'm 100% perfected it yet, but it's something I'm still working on. But I just love it, man. It's one of my favorite techniques.
What's going on between, and the guy you knocked out, of course, was Adam Cella. What's going on? I saw an article, and then I saw someone tweet it at you, and you took the high road. But is he trying to downplay the kick? Is he saying that it's not as impressive as it looks on TV, and it didn't hurt him as much? What's going on there?
I read part of that article. I didn't really focus on it. I could probably put myself in his shoes and say, I guess, people are looking at it like, dude, you got knocked the F out. And, to him, it's probably like, oh, shit, well, everyone's going to look at me like this. What can I do? And I could see where he's coming from, so it didn't really bother me what he said. I think he was just probably saying that it wasn't a spectacular kick. I came to after, and all was, fine, and whatever. I just didn't pay attention to it. It's nothing for me to pay attention to. I think people are just blowing stuff out of context. You leave stuff to the critics, and they'll just make it into a form, and, it's pretty much they take it to the high road after that. But I don't pay attention to that. I really don't care.
Based on how you've dealt with this news, and we were saying kind of the overwhelming response and whatnot, what's it like watching yourself on TV? I know it's only been 3 weeks and there's more to come, but are you the kind of guy that likes this sort of thing, likes being on a reality TV show? You get a lot of people around you watch the show. I mean, is this something that you're relishing right now?
And personally, for me as a fighter, I went on the show to pursue one of my biggest dreams, which is to pretty much be in the UFC. And just the journey that I've counted on the show and what I've learned, it made me a better person overall. But I don't get the hype over it. For me, it's not, oh, man, come check this out. I'm just happy with the fact that I was able to do it. And being on the show, I was looking for the best competition. Not to say I'm the man, because I don't think I am. But I feel like for me, I would just grow as a fighter. And at one point in the show, and Chael was like, hey, man, who would you rather, this guy or this guy? And I told him, give me the best guys, because I didn't go at it to say, all right, let me just do this and try to make it to the finals. I was trying to just beat the best guys or go up against the best guys and see how well I match up. That's how I was looking at it. But I don't want to get all gung-ho about it. I kind of don't even like it, to tell you the truth, because I don't know how celebrities do this stuff, man. You don't really have time for yourself. And, again, it's overwhelming, and, I'm just looking at the positive side of it. If I can influence someone to, gain from this and gain a positive structure from this, hey, I'm all about it. But I'm not going to give into all that, BS and, be all glamour about it, because that's not really me.
So, I mean, obviously in New York, there are celebrities everywhere. I mean, it feels like if you look hard enough on one day, you'll find someone, and it's a very busy place. And at the end of the day, it almost feels like no one really gives a crap about what you do and your personal story. I mean, everyone's kind of grinding and doing their own thing. So I'm wondering, in the last week, has anyone stopped you on the street, subway, anything like that? Has anyone come up to you and been like, hey, you're the guy who just got that knockout on TUF?
Yeah, I got a bunch of those, actually.
Nice.
I was in Union Square, and I think I was rushing to get to training. No, not Union Square. I think it's 42nd Street. And this lady, I saw in my peripheral, she was just coming by. And I thought it was someone, like, handing me a flyer or something, because we get a lot of that in the city. And, she's waving, and I was like, oh, I waved. I'm like, who the heck is this lady? And she came up to me. She's like, hi, I know you. Can't I take a picture? And me, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, why? I asked her why. And she's like, oh, you're on the TUF. And I'm like, me and my husband, Folly, was like, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. And it was pretty cool, but she definitely caught me off guard. It happened to me a couple of times, even at, I think the last season of season 16. I was there watching, and somebody thought I was Chicago.
Wow.
And she asked me to sign a shirt, and again, I'm like, why? And she's like, aren't you Chicago? I'm like, nah, man, I'm just some regular dude. But it's kind of cool. It's funny. It has its moments.
So you've been in this sport for a few years now. Why didn't you try out for TUF earlier?
Well, I don't think the opportunity, got me at a certain time. I know one time I missed it, and another time I was actually going to go, and my coach at the time didn't feel like I was ready to par with everything. I was more of a striker, and I trust my coach, so he didn't feel confident in my all-around game as far as my wrestling and my jiu-jitsu. So I hang back for that. But I think everything happens for a reason, and it was a great opportunity when this happened, and it was my first time trying out for it, and I just went out there with the attitude to say, I'm going to make it. And there's nothing going to really stand in my way.
The elephant in the room when you do these TUF interviews is that you actually know how the show turned out. You know who made it to the finals. It could be you, but we don't know, and you're not obviously allowed to talk about it. Is that weird? Is it weird to have this secret that everyone except for yourself is wondering about and maybe trying to, figure it out, ask you, maybe deceiving questions and trying to trick you and things like that? Is that a weird situation to be in right now?
It's not really weird. I mean, even when I think they had a bunch of pictures on one of the UFC website, and they were saying who's going to make it and who's not going to make it, or is this guy going to be the next Ultimate Fighter? And I just kind of sat back and just watched how people just come up with stuff, and I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty interesting. So in a way, it's kind of cool to not for me to know and for people to not know and just see how they bring things out or what their opinion is and what their perspective is. And, some people don't like a spoiler or, upset. So it's not really weird. I just kind of hang back and watch them put their stuff together and let them come up with their stories. And then, when stuff happens, they just go, oh, crap, I guess that's what really happened.
You started your career in 2005, but then your next fight was in 2009. Why such a big break?
2005. I think at the time I was just focusing more on, striking because that was my biggest background and I was comfortable there. And I did WCL and we traveled a lot and I did a MMA bout. I don't remember. I think maybe 03 or 04, one of those. And I won that, with a knockout. So I didn't really get a chance to go out there and just do a lot and showcase what I had. And, to take such a big gap, the opportunity just came, and I just jumped on it. So I just think everything just falls into place. I got a little better where I should have been, and there were still some holes in my game even when that happened. And after that, it was just constant improvement, and I'm just looking to improve overall.
Are you the most famous fighter to come from Jamaica?
I don't really know any other fighters from Jamaica. I mean, I know Usain Bolt is tearing it up.
Yeah.
But as far as fighting go, I don't really know of any other fighter from Jamaica. Maybe there's some guys in there that have a background of, Jamaica. But, yeah, that's my homeland, man, and looking to go back someday.
I got to tell you, when I was a kid, I was obsessed with Jamaica. I used to wear the Jamaican flag, on T-shirts. I would do projects about the Rastafarians and stuff. I think it was because Patrick Ewing was my favorite basketball player, and he's originally from Kingston. But there was something about Jamaica. Cool Runnings, of course, was a great movie, and I love that story.
I was waiting for that.
It's just such a great place, and I've had the opportunity to visit Jamaica, and the people are so nice, and obviously there's Bob Marley and all that, it's reggae. It's just such a great place. There's just something about Jamaicans that I really do enjoy. I must say that.
Well, everyone has their different view of people, and you see those commercials like, oh, come to Jamaica, it's one of the coolest places. For me, growing up there, everything was just cool, and I guess at that point I wasn't exposed to certain things. And in one of my interviews I talked about it, just making that transition from there to here. It was more like, oh, wow. I realized that, you got to dress a certain way and you got to be with a certain crowd. And none of that was exposed to me. It was more like, all right, we're cool, you're cool, and that's it. And it was just such a big transition. And it just took me a while to grasp, and again, bullying was one of the things, and I don't know, for some people who never got bullied, it's horrible, man. It's a horrible feeling, and what's worse about it is, the lifestyle I was used to back home was just so different. It was just so friendly and positive, and just to come from that to just, not to say anything bad about America, I love this place because it's a land of, opportunities, but the environment that I was in at the time was just a bad place, and I just thank God that he brought me out of it, and hopefully if I can inspire someone, to get out of whatever dark places they're from, then that would be great. But Jamaica's an awesome place, man. I recommend it for a great vacation, one of the most coolest tropical places on the planet. Just don't go out too far. Stay close to the resort.
In fact, when my son was born, all I played for him was Bob Marley music because I thought it was so happy, and I wanted him to come to a happy world. So, okay, that's enough about me and my obsession with Jamaica. Is that why? Is that why you got into fighting? Because you were bullied?
Absolutely. I got into. Well, I've always loved martial arts, and I didn't get a chance to do it, and just coming here, just watching movies and playing video games. I was more interested in just learning those cool things. I don't know what it was. If I see something cool, I was like, oh wow, I got to learn that. And I guess I just picked up on it, and that's where the talent kind of came in. I would just see it, and I would just copy it, and I would do it. But in school I got picked on, I got bullied, so I didn't really know how to fight. But something inside me just told me to do something, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I guess martial arts just came in again at the right time to just say, all right, you got the spirit, now let's teach you how to do the right stuff. And it just changed my life completely to, help me to carry myself a lot better, it changed my demeanor, because when you're when you know how to defend yourself, you're less aggressive and you're more assertive. So it definitely helped me.
One of the interesting things that happened since the knockout last week was your fight against Chris Weidman resurfaced online. And it seems like everyone was like, oh, wow, this guy actually fought Chris Weidman. Was that a bummer? Because you lost to him, and of course that was early in your career, but was that annoying?
Yeah, I mean, it it was kind of funny to look at it. I would expect something like this to happen in any, transition you make in life. You're always going to have the people behind you, and you're always going to have those people against you. It's human nature. And I think, being on the show, I've just learned to handle that. There's nothing you can really do about it. The best thing you can do about someone hating on you is just accept it and look at it as a positive thing, because if they talking behind your back, it means you're definitely ahead of them and in front of them, and it clearly means you're doing something right, which gives them enough time to think about you. So I just look at it as a positive thing. At the time, I lost. I accept it. It's one of the hardest things I had to encounter, because I'm not used to losing. But I'm glad it happened, and it needed to happen, because it makes you appreciate those wins. And, as a fighter, you're going to grow winning or losing. It's just how you look at it. But when they resurface all that stuff, like, okay, he's not all that, he lost to this guy, I'm like, all right, I really don't give two shits about it. But it's just them putting their stuff together, and I guess, I got to have a hater too. But if I have a lot of haters, that's fine, man. It really doesn't bother me. It's not going to let me not sleep at night. I actually will sleep. But thanks for the haters who have time to think about me. I appreciate it.
And by the way, how did you live? I mean, I can't even imagine the people on The Ultimate Fighter Live who were there for like 12, 13 weeks. How were you able to be in a house like that for 6 or something weeks? No TV, no internet, all that stuff. Mike Ricci told us, before his fight on the finale that, he even thought about suing the UFC because it played so many tricks and it was so damaging to his mind. How did you deal with that?
What?
Yeah, crazy, right?
Suing the UFC. First of all, I would like to recommend that.
Recommend
everybody.
it.
Maybe not. Maybe take out the fighting and just go to a place where only the only thing you have is your thoughts.
Wow.
For me, I needed that. I needed to either reflect on things, and there was just a lot of emotions running wild, and it taught me to control that. And I met people on the show that helped me to control that. So in an environment like that, where there's no TV, there's nothing basically. It's just food, sleep, and training. For the tournament, that's what it is for. It's perfect. It's perfect. And some people, when they get there, they choose right then and there to say, you know what, I'm not going to be broken. I'm going to take all these challenges, and I'm going to go all the way. And some people could give in. And, like Chell said, it's a choice. You either choose to go right or you choose to go left. And it's not easy, man, because at times you want to talk yourself out of it. You're like, shit, I just want to go home and see my family. Oh, my God, I want to use a phone. God forbid you have a little confrontation with someone, you want to go watch a movie or something. You can't do that. You only have your thoughts to reflect on. And for me personally, I think it built me not only as a fighter, but as a human being, as a person. And again, I needed that, and I definitely recommend it for anybody. And for that guy who says he wants to sue the UFC, I should smack him for saying it. He doesn't know what he's saying.
Well, his name is Mike Ricci, so if you see him around, that's the one who said. I mean, I don't think he was being like a whiny little brat about it, but he just didn't appreciate the experience, I guess.
But then
as
don't
much
go
as,
on the show.
Yeah,
don't go on the show. That's simple.
That's true. Well,
Great opportunity. Why would you ever talk bad about it?
Well, very well said. I look forward to seeing how you do on the show. You've got our attention. You could be the guy who has revolutionized The Ultimate Fighter. You got a lot of people talking last week. We'll see how you do throughout the rest of the show. And the finale is in April. They just booked a great fight for the finales. We'll talk about that in a second. But it was great talking to you for the first time, Uriah. And if you want to talk to Uriah, hit him up on Twitter, twitter.com/Uriah Hall MMA. Keep representing New York. Keep representing Jamaica very well. And we'll talk to you very soon, Uriah. Good luck to you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
There he is, Uriah Hall, stopping by of The Ultimate Fighter Season 17. As I mentioned, his Twitter is twitter.com/Uriah Hall MMA. And if you missed that KO, I mean, what more can you say about it? Spinning kick to the head. Adam Cella kind of downplaying it a little bit. It was amazing. They showed it from all angles. He was okay afterwards, and he right now appears to be one of the front runners on the 17th season of The Ultimate Fighter.